Where is the line drawn between possible and impossible? Is it a concrete wall, an unbreakable law of physics, or is it just a fragile line drawn in our own minds? Most of us live in a world defined by what others have deemed reality. We are taught our limits long before we discover our potential. We fear failure, we fear ridicule, we fear the very idea that we might be wrong. But what if I told you that reality can be bent? That your external world, for better or worse, is largely a reflection of your internal one. There was one man who understood this more profoundly than most. He didn't just believe in a crazy idea. He used that belief to reshape an entire civilization. His name was Henry Ford, and his timeless words hold the secret to changing the world. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Today, we decode the power that allowed Ford to turn raw metal into an empire, and how you can apply this imperative of belief to build your own reality. Belief is a command to action. Go back to the early 1900s. The automobile was a luxury toy, a rich man's folly. They were complex, expensive, and unreliable. The reality of the time was, the car would never be for the masses. But Henry Ford had a different vision, a vision that everyone, including his own engineers and investors, called absurd. He declared, "I will build a car for the great multitude." People laughed at him. They said it was impossible. The banks refused to lend him money. Experts pointed out that the cost of production was too high, and the average person could never afford one. This is the critical junction. Faced with absolute skepticism, a normal person adjusts their dream. They say, maybe they're right. But not Henry Ford. His belief wasn't a fragile hope, it was a command. Because he believed he must create an affordable car, his mind had no other option but to find a way. His "I can" belief forced him to ask a different set of questions. Not, can we do this? But what must we do to make this happen? And the answer came: the moving assembly line, a revolutionary idea that slashed the production time for one car from 12 hours to just 90 minutes. It dropped the cost spectacularly. He turned the impossible into the inevitable. Ford didn't predict the future. He commanded it. When he said, "Whether you think you can, you are right," he was talking about himself. His belief wasn't just an emotion. It was an engineering tool. It was the blueprint for action. Belief breaks biological barriers. This power isn't limited to factories or business plans. It can shatter the barriers we believe are built into our own biology. For decades, medicine and sports science all agreed on one truth. It was impossible for a human being to run a mile in under 4 minutes. It was a medical fact. They believed the human heart would explode, the lungs would collapse. It was a psychological barrier as firm as a brick wall. Thousands of the world's best athletes had tried, and all had failed. Until May 6, 1954. Roger Bannister, a medical student who knew all about the body's limits, but who also doubted them. He believed the 4-minute barrier was in the mind, not the body. On a windy afternoon in Oxford, he did it. He crossed the line at 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds. But here is the most incredible part. That impossible wall had stood for decades. But just 46 days after Bannister broke it, another runner broke it too. And in the year that followed, dozens of others ran the mile in under 4 minutes. What changed? Did the human species suddenly evolve in 46 days? No. The only thing that changed was belief. Roger Bannister didn't just break a record. He broke a psychological curse. He proved to the world that the impossible was really just the not yet done. Once the belief was established, reality was forced to catch up. Negative belief is just as powerful. This is the frightening and most important part of Henry Ford's quote. Or you think you can't, you are right. Belief is a double-edged sword. It doesn't care about good or bad. It simply executes the command you give it. This is known as the Pygmalion Effect, or the self-fulfilling prophecy. In a classic psychological experiment, researchers told teachers that a random group of students, who were, in fact, completely average, had superior academic potential. What happened? Because the teachers believed these students were brilliant, they unconsciously treated them differently. They gave them more patience, more encouragement, and higher expectations. The result? By the end of the school year, that random group of students showed a significant jump in their IQ scores compared to the rest of the class. The teacher's belief created a new reality. Now, apply this to yourself. When you tell yourself, "I'm not good enough, I don't have the talent, I always fail," do you realize you are also issuing a command? The "I can't" belief orders your brain to find evidence to confirm it. You will see only the risks, not the opportunities. You will quit at the first sign of real difficulty. You will interpret all feedback as criticism. You will also be right, and that is the greatest tragedy. Which belief do you choose? Henry Ford, Roger Bannister, and countless other world changers were not supermen. They were ordinary people who made an extraordinary choice. They chose to believe in their potential despite the reality around them. Henry Ford's quote is not a feel-good platitude. It is a law of the universe. Belief isn't something you have. Belief is something you do. It is the conscious choice to see the finished painting, even when you're only holding broken pieces. It is the discipline to act every single day as if success is inevitable. So, today, what are you thinking? Are you telling yourself you can't start that project? That you can't overcome this adversity? That you can't become the person you were meant to be? Or, do you think you can? Remember, whichever one you choose, you are right. What is the biggest limiting belief that's holding you back? Write it in the comments below and declare that today is the day you start to change it. If you are ready to break your invisible barriers and build a mindset for success, hit that subscribe button and join the quote motivation community. Because the world is waiting for what you can create.